all, my name is Rage, and welcome to the next episode of Don't Question It, the show where you have to question it. I love that tagline. That tagline is the best. Okay, so, before we begin, I have my camcorder, like this really nice one that YouTube gave me as a reward for hitting 100k subscribers. Yeah, they were like 6 months late, but you know, YouTube. Like, set up behind me. I'm even wearing my Rage Gaming t-shirt, ready to go, have a camera, while the background footage make it awesome, and then it turns out that it's American! So it has an American charger on it. So until my converter arrives, which should have been today, but of course it didn't arrive. Damn English Post! See? I made it all equal for everyone. I can't actually do it. So from next week, there will be a face cam. 99% sure. So that's what's happening with that. Okay, the next thing. I am so proud of you guys, like seriously. A lot of people, when I told them the question that I'd answered in the last show, were really worried. They thought the dislike bar would be through the roof, they thought the comments would just be a cesspit of flame, and people calling each other all manner of names under the sun, and it really was that 99% of you had really mature, intelligent things to say. You all debated properly, and it was absolutely a pleasure to read through the comments. Most of the comments, I'll get to that in a second, because I have picked out a choice cut of comment. They're like probably the most. We all had such a laugh reading this comment on Skype, like 5 of us. It was fantastic, but we'll get to that. But yes, you guys were fantastic in the comments of the last video. There were loads of good points on, I was going to say on both sides, but then I'm joking, okay. Although, seriously, there wasn't any good points on the side of religion. I read every single comment, and I could have replied to all of them with something that would completely disarm it. But, you know, I felt like having a week to, you know, that wasn't involved just writing comment after comment. But I am going to go over a few things that I did pick up on that people felt like, I've got you now, Rage, because of this. So we'll get to that. But I do have quite a few questions to answer this episode. A lot of them are quite good and fun, but I am going to spend sort of the first 8 minutes or so clearing up a few things, as well as answering 2 other related questions. But yes, just finally, you guys did a really good job. Everyone was civil. Everyone like had really intelligent things to say. It was good. It was really, really great reading your comments, and you guys were really awesome. I'm so happy that my audience is capable of having such a discussion. It's made me really... You guys! Alright, so, before I begin, let me read to you the best comment that I think I've ever had that was on that video. Okay, just this comment probably is one of my favourite comments I've ever had in 3 years, and it's fantastic. It's by Lewis999911, so you know we're off to a good start. And it goes like this. If you think you're hard, shoot something out about me, you prick. Come ahead, you canny rap. You retard, Evans is better than you. Everyone is better than you. Evans, bet you in quick build. Beesh, your mum said I was good in bed. Tell her I will be up to see her aging. Ask her what time and what day. If I had a face cam on right now, you would see utter just... What? That comment is beautiful. Lewis, you keep on being a retard, mate. You just keep on, because that is phenomenal. You, sir, have earned the Golden Rage Gaming Award medal for the stupidest comment in my history. Congratulations. Oh, God. Anyway, now that I've got that out my system, let us begin. Technically, this wasn't all intro. It was stuff that needed saying before you're like, haha, 3-minute intro, Rage, you did it. Pricks, I like my intros. Okay, so I realised after having finished what I was about to say, saying the 2 points that I had to follow up, and answering 2 more questions and discussing a few 4 things, I'd accidentally gone on for 17 minutes. So I realise a lot of people, well, probably some people, don't want to have another episode that's just 17 minutes of me discussing various religious issues, and believe me, this is the last episode it's going to happen. I would love to keep going, but obviously I have to remember that I'm a gaming channel, I like having fun, it's comedy, you know, we're all having a fun time here, so, you know, what I've decided to do is I'm going to answer the other questions that I have that are all fun, all good, etc, etc, and then at the end of the episode, I will have the 17 minutes of me discussing these points, so people who are interested in my opinion on the follow-ups, etc, can listen, and people who aren't can just, you know, close the video and get on with their lives. So I think that's probably best for everyone to do it that way round. So, let me answer the questions that had to do with serious, well, not all of them, but you know, we'll see. Okay, so, here we go. I don't know why I felt the need that, so, okay. Dear Rage, I would like, this is by Tony Zakvek. Damn it, I said I'm sorry, Tony. Tony, I'm sorry. Oh, at least I didn't say the third part of your name. That's okay. There could be lots of Tony Zakaveks in the world. Don't judge me. He says, Dear Rage, I would like to hear your insights on the 90% of our brain that we don't use, like what could be possible. Okay, so I don't know if you actually think this, but I needed to answer this question because it amused me. The fact that some people believe that humans don't use 90% of their brains is absolutely ridiculous. It's a myth that is just, I don't know who perpetuates it, but it is a complete and utter myth. Humans use 100% of their brains. There is not a species of animal in this world that only uses a part of their brain. Our brains are the size they are because they need to be that size, because that's how much brain power we require. This myth stems from the fact that the human brain is separated into, at a base level, 6 different areas. We've got the spinal cord leading into the brain, we've got the temporal lobe, we've got the frontal lobe, the parietal lobe, the occipital lobe, and the cerebellum. These areas of the brain all handle different tasks that we require on a day-to-day basis. Let me explain as to why this myth is completely stupid. The frontal lobe, for example, handles stuff like speech recognition, and I'm not sure where memory is handled. I'm not that up on my biology, because that's not something that I really did in school past GCSE, but I do know, enough to talk about it. Part of your brain handles memory, the frontal lobe handles speech recognition, you've got the mechanical part of your brain, you've got the creative part of your brain, you've got the creative part of your brain, etc., etc. Everything that you can do is handled by an area of your brain. For example, when you're sleeping, there's hardly any brain activity apart from in the area where you have memories, because that's what causes dreams. Humans, by the way, always dream. It just varies whether you were aware of it and if you remember it, but nearly 99% of the time you will have a dream. That's why brain impulses is still going on while you're asleep if you scan someone's brain while they are asleep. But yes, different parts of your brain handle different tasks. The reason this myth exists is because if, for example, I'm doing a maths problem, the only parts of my brain that will be really flaring into life are the bits with my memory and the bits where I'm on my mechanical side of the brain. I don't really need to be creative, although that will be a little bit, thinking of ways to solve the problem, but I don't need speech recognition at that point, do I? Because no one's talking to me. On a very, very basic level, it's a lot more complex than it does, and you might want to look up a video that talks about it in a lot greater detail than I am able to, but basically we don't use 10% of our brains, we use all of our brains, we just use different parts in different amounts at different times depending on the task we are doing. Okay, that will cover it for that. The next question is... Dun, 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 dun. Okay, so... this is from JB! Same initials as me, but not as nearly as cool a name. I've got a couple of questions for you. Sneaky bastard! So here goes. Do you get my emails? Let's just ignore that one. Number 2, what do you believe the true meaning of life is? And please don't say 42 or whatever it was that Wikipedia said. Wikipedia knows the meaning of life? Guys, what the hell? Stop listening to me, get on Wikipedia! It knows the answers! So apart from 42, which obviously is the meaning of life, it's subjective from person to person. I don't believe there's an objective meaning to life, because I think that's just silly. We are here by chance. I just don't agree with the fact that there is some overarching meaning that we should strive towards. Therefore, my view on the meaning of life is simply to enjoy your life. You get one life, you're on this earth once, make the best of it. If you, when you're 90 years old, on your deathbed, can look back at everything you have done with your life, have very few regrets, rationalize that overall you have enjoyed your life, you have affected others in ways that you enjoy, you have had loved ones, you have, done something significant with your life, you've been successful, etc., etc., you've had fun. That is what I believe the true meaning of life is. If you can look back on your life just before you die and be satisfied, be content, pass away smiling, then you have led a good life, you have achieved what your meaning of life is, and you can die happy. That is what I believe the meaning of life is, to enjoy it to the fullest, to have fun, to achieve what you want to achieve, and no more. There doesn't need to be some big, overarching thing. Whatever you want out of life, achieve it, and you have achieved your personal meaning of life. That is what I believe on that subject, and that is what I strive towards. So that is what I think on that. Okay, so the next question is... Done. Dun-dun-dun. This is by LN. Hey, Josh/Rage, because your opinions and the reasoning in the last 2 question videos really impressed me, I wanted to ask, do you believe in parallel universes, multiverse, what's your opinion on it? Oh, and why do you hate MLP so much? So, my opinions on parallel universes, multiverse theory, extra, is, again, I don't know that much on this subject, but I would like to believe it's true. I'm not entirely sure it is. It seems a little bit too convenient that there is thousands and thousands, well, infinite, basically, infinite parallel universes that potentially are travelable to, where something is slightly different in each one, because, I don't know, it just doesn't seem likely to me. Why would that happen? I mean, it's entirely possible in this universe. Anything is. It's a massive universe where anything could really happen. There's probably a planet somewhere where rocks float, to use a very tame example. But I'm not sure. I am skeptical on this. I could go either way. But the only thing that makes me kind of like want to think that it could be true is there are quite a few points. There are 3 points in my life where I had a major choice that sent me down 2 completely different paths, and I think it would be nice to see how my life would have turned out had I taken the path that I didn't actually take. That's the only thing that makes me really want to think that this could be true. But as far as whether I believe in it, I'm honestly, I'm good either way. It could be true, it could not be true. It doesn't really affect us. So, I'm sorry, that's all I've got to say on the project. I'm not really up on my, multiverse theory, as unfortunately, I should probably take more science school or summit. Science school or summit! That was an intelligent sentence. Alright, so that is done. The next question is done. Oh yeah, well, why do you hate MLP so much? Okay, this is going to be like, I don't actually hate MLP per se. I just think it's fun to make fun of 20-year-olds who watch, colourful ponies go on magical friendship adventures, because, it doesn't seem like something that the average 20-year-old male would be interested in. But, funny things happen in Poland, so whatever floats your boat, Kubiak, I do not mind, okay? It's whatever you want. You're gay. Okay, but seriously, people watch whatever entertainment they want and watch. I'm not going to judge them for it. I just think it's amusing to make fun of bronies because they get so defensive about it. Clearly, if you thought it was completely fine and normal, if I insulted you, you wouldn't be like, oh, what the fuck, you faggot, making fun of what? You wouldn't get so angry if it was just a normal thing. If someone told me that they don't like, for example, Avatar The Last Airbender, even though I love it, I'm not going to get all aggressive and defensive because it's a good show. Fair enough, you don't like it, that's how it is. But when you make fun of someone for liking MLP, or, someone who isn't part of the target audience, they really do get all upset about it. So clearly there's something going on there. But mainly, I just do it because it amuses me. That's all there really is to it. Okay, so now that that is done, let us move on to the final 2 questions before my next religious rant. Yay! Okay, so here we go. Here's a comic question for you. Haha, see what you did there. Who would win a fight, the Avengers or the Justice League, and why? Focus on the core teams. I think the Avengers would win, simply because no one can beat the Hulk. That's all it really comes down to. Obviously, my thoughts on an Iron Man versus Batman fight. Obviously, Iron Man would destroy him. Fuck you, Hollow. But when it comes to the Hulk has no weaknesses, is infinitely strong, will beat Superman, he'll beat everyone. Well, as soon as Superman goes, the Avengers really got nothing. The Justice League, really has nothing when Superman's gone. And obviously, if it's set in the same world, Tony Stark is going to get hold of some kryptonite. He's built suits that have beaten the Hulk. He would be able to build something to counter Superman. He just needs to hug him in a kryptonite suit, really, and Superman's out of there. But yeah, I think the Avengers will win simply because of how overpowered the Hulk is. Okay. So the final question of today, before I unleash the rant. I hope I've said some good things today. I hope I've chosen some interesting questions. I quite like it when I choose something that's a bit more, it's a bit above the, why did you start making YouTube videos, which I've answered 1,000 times across various things. Alright, the final question. Okay, this is from Sky HD, high definition Sky. That is nice. My camcorder can record the Sky in HD, so it's good to know that there are other people who appreciate Sky in HD. I have a few questions. What is with all the sneaky bastards in today's world? There are so many of them. Number 1, what gave you the idea for Quick Build? Also, I would like to be in one. You are a double sneaky bastard. Wow, that is twice sneaky bastard squared going on here. And number two, also, do you have a girlfriend? Okay, so the reason I'm answering this is because a ridiculous amount of people are emailing me asking this as well as something else. So let's start with the first one. The idea for Quick Build is literally, I was just sat there. By the way, yesterday was the 1-year anniversary of Quick Build. Yay! So I was just sat there a year ago, and I just thought of it. I just came up with a basic premise, made a video to test it, and there wasn't really any, just snap, inspiration has struck, that is it moment. It just kind of happened, and I made a tester, and honestly, I can't really remember. Obviously, I'm glad I came up with it, COD, but I can't really remember a moment where I was like, yes, this is it. It just kind of developed and happened naturally. As to your number 2, in fact, before I go on to number 2, let me quell this. For the about 150 emails, which I believe most of them are troll jokes, but it's kind of annoying. Obviously, I'm going to get thousands of emails asking this now that I've said this, but no, I am not gay for the thousands of emails that are asking me that, okay? God, you're not funny when you send in an email saying, are you gay? Thanks a lot, Hollow, for perpetuating that one. I really owe you, man. So, to answer your second question, no, I do not currently have a girlfriend. My last relationship ended about a month ago, so yeah, in fact, people are probably going to want to know why. So, to stop that flood of questions, basically, I found something out about her that I personally couldn't accept. This obviously caused a rift between us that evidently proved unrepairable. We are still friends, however, so it's all good, but that's all I'm saying. No matter how many questions get sent in asking for elaborations, you're not going to get it. This is neither the time or the place to mass broadcast what happened, okay? So that's that. So yeah, in answer to your question, I am currently single. So, you know, ladies, oh, it doesn't really work if I don't have the face cam on. I did a double finger point. Awesome. How hilarious would it be if I flashed up the Rage Gaming general email, as I said, ladies there. Oh yeah, Rage Gaming Videos using Don't Question It. Can you imagine the emails I'd get? Anyway, joking aside, that is the answer to that. And that brings us to the end of today's Don't Question It. So, as usual, send in your emails to the email in the description. By the way, if you may have heard me talk about my Rage Gaming t-shirt at the start of the video, there is a link in the description to my t-shirt shop where you can buy various t-shirts that are really cool and, you know, yeah! Also, I'm going to Eurogamer in September in London. It's like the 20-something of September for the weekend. I was just wondering how many people are planning on being there to meet me, Hollow Jake, Will, Evans. A lot of us are going, because that would be really cool. I'd like to know in the comments how many of you are interested in actually going to London in September, or you already live in London and going to do it anyway, and actually see us, meet us, you know, talk to us. It's going to be awesome. By the way, if any of you bring a Yu-Gi-Oh deck and a spare one for me to use, I will duel you on the spot. That is all I am saying. Yo, yeah. Alright, guys, my name has been Rage. Remember to like, favorite, and share. I will see you all next time. Goodbye. Right, so that is the main show over for everyone who just wants the nice, fun questions and stuff that hasn't already been discussed. The following sort of 15 minutes discussion is my follow-up to the religious stuff and my final input onto the topic unless something major happens, okay? So this is just for everyone who is academically interested in what I have to say based on your responses and a few other questions. So, without further ado, enjoy. The first question that I'm going to answer, which is in relation to things. In fact, before I answer questions, actually, I'm going to go over the 2 points that people most raised about the things that I said that I didn't cover. The first one, something quickly, is people like, the atheist is saying Jesus Christ, and for God's sake, you realise that's really, really a dumb thing to say, right? Let me put it this way. For a Christian or a religious person, saying their God's name in vain is a sin and against what they believe in. So I would put it to you that an atheist saying Jesus Christ is actually a lot more valid than, for example, a Christian, because a Christian isn't supposed to say that, where an atheist can say whatever the hell he wants. It's not like if I went, oh, for Tooth Fairy's sake, people are going to go, ha ha, the guy don't believe in Tooth Fairy is saying for Tooth Fairy's sake, what a dickhead. Think about what you're saying. Okay, the next thing is, okay, if there wasn't a God, who started everything? Who made the Big Bang happen, if that's the theory that you believe in? And, you know, etc., etc., that kind of thing. Where did everything begin from? Now, this is something that science hasn't really come up with an answer with, because it's almost impossible to find out what happened before the start of the universe, which happened trillions of years ago. But, you know, people like to invent a man in the sky that did it for them. Which, you know, I could see that based on fairly logical... Oh, wait, no, I can't. So, what I think has happened, and this is literally a theory that I have personally come up with, okay? It's not based on anything. I've not look this up. It's not really a theory presented by the scientific community. This is what I think is quite a likely thing. I'm assuming that the Big Bang is correct, okay? Because it's not 100%, but it is the most likely source of the creation of the universe. So the Big Bang, quickly for everyone who doesn't know, at one point in the universe, every single piece of matter, every atom, everything in the universe was the size of a head pin. Just that's how small everything was contracted into, and with that much density, that much matter in such a small space, it's inevitable that it's going to go, and it's not actually like an explosion, like fire, it's just going to rapidly expand out from each other, because you cannot have something that is dense, being stable at such a small, it just doesn't happen, that doesn't work. That can be proved in a lab with an experiment, and it will rapidly expand, and then for billions of years you've just got gas everywhere, nothing really forming, then trillions of years later you get planets forming, and so on and so forth. And, you know, I think that theory is quite likely, so what I'm going to say is assuming the Big Bang is correct. And then the argument is, well, what started the Big Bang? This is how I like to look at it, and this is again something that I have come up with. the Big Bang happens, the universe expands, trillions of years, keeps expanding, gets to the maximum expansion point, because obviously they will think of an explosion, explodes outwards, then contracts inwards once the energy is expended, and it is finished. So the universe expands, gets to the maximum form of expansion, and then starts contracting back inwards, which is likely to happen based off what we know of explosions and that kind of matter. So it's going to contract, trillions more years, trillions and trillions of years, and eventually contract back to the point where every bit of matter in the universe is occupying the space of a pinhead and is incredibly dense again. And guess what will happen at that point? The same thing. It'll suddenly explode outwards, start expanding. And imagine that cycle over and over and over. Every God knows how many trillions and trillions and trillions of years, a brand new universe is created and then destroyed. An endless cycle of everything is the size of a pinhead, expands outwards, contracts back into a size of a pinhead, and repeats for the rest of time and for everything that ever has been. Now, in order to accept this, you have to accept the concept of infinity. You have to get your head around the fact that there was never a beginning and there will never be an end. This will always happen and always has happened, which is obviously a hard thing for humans to accept because they like to know finite things that they can get a head around. And honestly, this is just something I came up with. I'm not arguing for its truth, but that's how I like to rationalize it. There will always be this cycle, and there always has been this cycle. There's no need for a beginning and there's no need for an end. Okay, now that I've got them away, 2 quick questions and then I'll move on to the main part of the show. So, Minigun Master 25, apparently he's really good at miniguns, the 25th person or so. You said last episode that there is no heaven or God. Then where do people's souls go when they die? I don't need to really go into this much. Obviously, souls aren't a thing. There's no such thing as a spirit, a soul, anything like that. That's just something that has been made up. There's not a shred of evidence to say that there is a soul, and everything to say that there isn't. Because basically, you've got 3 choices here. You either believe that nothing in this world has a soul, you believe that only humans have a soul, or you believe that everything has a soul. The tree, the fish, the insect, everything. In which case, everything should surely be in heaven. Heaven should just be a replica of Earth, basically, if that's the case, because everything goes there, because why the hell not? But if you believe that only humans have souls, let me ask you this. At what point during our evolutionary stages did the soul get inserted? Did we have souls when we were the size of, like, a cell, first evolving in the ocean? Did we get a soul inserted when we first crawled on land? Did we get a soul inserted when we were sort of still looking like primates? Did we get a soul inserted when we first learned how to walk on land? At what point in our evolutionary period did a soul just get injected into the human race? Or have we always had one? That is the point that I like to make, and a lot of the time people are like, oh, that's a good point. And if you're someone that believes all life has a soul, then there's not really much I can say in contrary to that, because I mean, there's nothing, I can't be like, no, I can prove that there isn't a soul and everything, but do you really think that it is likely that there is a celestial sort of spirit that is the essence of you that is released when you die? Because personally, I think that is really an illogical thing to believe. We are made of carbon, we are made of atoms and cells. There is nothing special about us. Everything on this planet is carbon-based in some way. We are literally just matter. Different formations of matter, different combinations of elements. We are just stuff. There is nothing celestial, spiritual going on. We are literally stuff. Walking stuff arranged in a way that lets us be as we know humans and have some form of intelligence. That is literally all it is. I don't know why people feel the need to believe in a soul. There are a lot of reasons people believe in this stuff, and it's fair enough. A lot of people are scared by the prospect of there being nothing when they die, which I can understand happening. God damn, I'm really moving. I would love to expand on this, but I'd really need to hurry up because I want to answer questions that aren't this. Okay. The next question is... Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. Okay, this is by Zeb Bruce. I'm going to quickly paraphrase this. Dear Rage, I have a question or two and something to say. On your last vid, you said that religion was the cause of war, slow technological excitement, etc., but it isn't religion's fault. It's the people that make it bad. A lot of things are deemed bad or sinful or whatever are indeed called that because humanity has made it so. Sex isn't innately evil, guns are evil, nothing on earth is. By definition, evil or bad. It's only when people do or use something for nefarious purposes is it evil. Religion is not evil, it was made to be evil, people have just twisted it in that way. It causes no more trouble than the voice in your head that tells you to fuck with your challenger's pills. It is just people who use it to reason to justify what they've done. Okay, I'm going to start this by saying I agree with you in somewhat. There is no such thing as evil or good. There is no such thing as objective morality. And a lot of arguments that do get brought up are the fact that without religion and God, etc., how would we know what morals are? And the answer to that is there isn't such a thing as morals. There isn't such a thing as objective morality. Morals aren't a thing. Morals are a human concept. Whatever is moral at any given time in any given species is what is accepted to be moral to them. If murder was legal, murder would be a moral act. That's all there is to it. It is what a species decides. And what a species decides is moral is what's good for a species. Murder, stealing everything is bad for a species. It goes against the survival and propagation of your species, so obviously it's going to be seen bad. That's why species of animals don't generally kill each other. Obviously there are animals that do eat their own kind, but you know what I'm saying. Generally what a species to be considers good and moral is what is good for the species, what helps propagate it, what helps continue it into the next generation. But there is no such thing as an objective divine morality, stuff that will always be moral, irrelevant of what we think. What is a moral act is what the human race deems as a moral act at its current state, largely dependent on the law and largely dependent on how society views certain acts. That's all there really is to it. Now, as for your point that religion is not innately evil, you may be thinking I'm about to agree with that based on what I just said, but I'm going to just use the case of Christianity here, because I know a lot more about Christianity than I do about the other religions, for obvious reasons. So, the Christianity religion is based entirely on the Bible. The Bible is the core of the religion. Everything that has been believed by Christians has stemmed from the Bible. The Bible was the book that started the entire religion in 2,000 years ago. The Bible is well, not exactly 2,000, but you know what I'm saying. The Bible is literally the core, the source of all the teachings, beliefs, everything of Christianity. There's no real disagreement with that. The Bible is Christianity, as, in a general sense. So, I'll put it to you this way. About 90% of Christians probably haven't even read the Bible. They've read a bit, but very few of them, I would say, have read the entire Bible, which is convenient for them, because they go to church, they get told the good bits of the Bible, they get told the bits that tell them to be good people, they get told what they want to hear, and get completely... just all the bad stuff gets missed out. What bad stuff, you may ask? Well, you'd know if you've read the Bible. Anyone who has read the Bible, either because they're interested in what it says or for learning purposes, I wish I'd taken the time to do that. But this is stuff that I just know from watching various people talk about it and stuff that I found out myself. So, the reason I'm saying that Christianity, for example, is innately evil in what it does is because of certain teachings that are in the Bible, the stuff that doesn't get taught in church or school, for example. Let me just read a few actual quotes and some others that aren't quotes that I'm just going to be paraphrasing from the Bible. These are all real things written in the Bible. Okay, so this is from Zechariah 13:3. If a man still prophesies, his parents, father, and mother shall say to him, "You shall not live, because you have spoken a lie in the name of the Lord." When he prophesies, his parents, father, and mother shall thrust him through. So what that is saying, if you see someone who does not believe and worship the Christian God, stab him. Legitimately, in the Bible, it says all Christians must kill everyone who does not believe in the Christian God. Literally in the Bible, that is what it says. Okay, this one. This is a bit from Nahum 1:2-8. The Lord is a jealous God, filled with vengeance and wrath. He takes revenge on all who oppose him, and furiously destroys his enemies. The Lord is slow to get angry, but his power is great, and he never lets the guilty go unpunished. He displays his power in the whirlwind and the storm. The billowing clouds are the dust beneath his feet. At his command, the oceans and rivers dry up. The lush pastures of Bashan and Carmel fade, and the green forests of Lebanon wilt. Okay, so what this is saying is that when you do bad stuff, God gets angry and causes natural disasters. As we know, natural disasters are caused for entirely natural reasons that science has proven, so again, that does go against this whole belief. But what the Bible is effectively saying is that if you do evil things, God will literally kill you in some horrific vengeance and wrath and furiously destroy his enemies. So, apart from the fact that has obviously never happened once throughout history, there has never been a smiting from above, yeah, that's all I've really got to say on that matter. It's quite obvious that this just isn't something that makes sense to believe in. And another one, okay, I could keep quoting these all day. There is loads like this that literally part of the Bible tell Christians to do really horrible things. One of them, by the way, any of you out there that are women who are Christian, you like this one. In the Bible, it says, if you are a female priest, that you must be stoned to death because females aren't allowed to prophesize, to, preach. It also says, if you are a female teacher, that women are not allowed to teach others in anything, in schools, knowledge, you know what I'm saying, that you must also be stoned to death if you are found to be female and a teacher of something. So that's nice, isn't it? You don't see many Christians practicing that part of the Bible, but of course they practice the part where it says to be good to your neighbour. But most people who practice this stuff are quite hypocritical in picking out which beliefs and stuff that they follow. That is why, for example, Christianity, a lot of the stuff is innately evil, because it's written right there in the Bible that most Christians haven't taken the time to read. I realise what I've said, and this one sounds a lot more aggressive, but it's when people come at me with arguments that are just founded on things that they've not looked up to. This is what I was saying last episode. If you don't know what you're talking about, if you've not taken the time to research both sides, the flaws and negatives on both sides of the argument, you can't really assert something without knowing what you're talking about. Obviously, I'm not trying to just have a go at everyone watching this who believes. It's, again, entirely up to you. It is a personal thing. It does frustrate me when people say these things founded on a lack of knowledge, a lack of research into the subject, yet still try and preach that what they believe is right or be aggressive about it. Obviously, the guy who emailed the question was, and he just wanted to know my opinion on it, and in some ways I do agree with him, as I said. Okay, so I realise I'm now on 18 minutes, so I know what I'm going to do.
Rage here in the building. The roof is on fire. Minecraft gotta do anything you want him to. English failure. Like and subscribe.